Welcome to the show where we run through all the biggest headlines of Miami Dolphins training camp. This first report is concerning Reshad Jones, and this report comes from the Palm Beach Post. The reason Reshad Jones has been sidelined for the first 5 practices of Miami Dolphins training camp is a calf injury, according to Adam Gase. So how close is he to a return? Adam Gase said we'll know more Tuesday. Adam Gase is being cautious with Reshad Jones because he doesn't want the injury to get worse. Jones missed the last 11 games of last season, including a playoff game, due to a shoulder injury, but Jones has been cleared to return from the shoulder injury. In Jones' absence, the Dolphins have been using Nate Allen, TJ McDonald. Michael Thomas is also capable of playing safety, but he's been playing the nickel position. So this is not terrible news. I think it's good in that we know what the heck is going on with him. A calf injury, I guess, like Adam said, we'll know more Tuesday, but it's nothing serious. Hopefully he doesn't miss a bigger chunk of training camp. Hopefully he definitely gets, some preseason games in, but it's nothing to, even if Reshad missed a couple, the next week of practice, I think he'd be fine. I mean, we know what Reshad is capable of. This next report is concerning running back Jay Ajayi. This report comes from the Palm Beach Post. The Dolphins are in full pads this morning, a first for the year, and that means the intensity goes up a notch. Very physical practice, and one of the biggest hits came when TJ McDonald knocked running back Jay Ajayi off his feet. That ended Ajayi's day. And the training staff escorted him back inside the facility. Dolphins head coach Adam Gase said after practice Ajayi is being evaluated for a concussion. Really sucks. Now it seems like he's gonna miss. I mean, if he did sustain a concussion, which I'm pretty sure he did, then he's gonna miss significant time throughout training camp. So that means less reps for him, and hopefully he doesn't get off to a slow start because of that. Hopefully he'll come back within a week or two, and be fully ready to go. Hopefully we get it back for some preseason games. But the whole situation is just unfortunate. Obviously you want to stay healthy throughout training camp. Not always the case, especially when you lose one of your superstar players in running back Jay Ajayi. This next report is concerning the Miami Dolphins wide receiver position. This report comes from Armando Salguero of the Miami Herald. Rookie wide receiver Isaiah Ford is going for a second opinion on his knee that swelled up last week. Ford and Rashawn Scott Foote are both sidelines, creating opportunities for players like Drew Morgan, who worked with the starters Monday and even caught a touchdown. See, there's good news and bad news to this. The bad news is Isaiah Ford's injured, and we haven't got to see enough of him. Obviously, I think highly of Isaiah Ford. I think he has a chance to even make the roster and make an impact on the football team. Sucks that he's hurt. Rashawn Scott, obviously, if you followed his career, ever since he's been a Dolphin, he's made big plays throughout the offseason. Just can't stay healthy, so that's unfortunate. But the good news to come out of this is Drew Morgan. Drew Morgan has had a great offseason. He had a great OTAs. He's having a great training camp, catching a touchdown with the starters, which is just great news for us. Drew Morgan, I can't wait to see him play in preseason. But other than the injuries, it's good to see Drew Morgan being consistently good. This next report is concerning the Miami Dolphins defensive line. This report comes from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. Charles Harris' work against the run remains a work in progress. On Monday, he missed a tackle on a Damian Williams touchdown run, but Williams had a sack. Jordan Phillips had a sack, but also committed 2 offsides penalties, something that happens too often with him. Andre Branch was very good with 2 sacks, including a strip sack of Ryan Tannehill. So the defensive line has been consistent, probably the most consistent group throughout training camp so far. Every single one of them have been making plays. William Hayes, Andre Branch, Cameron Wake, Charles Harris. But the thing that I think everybody should take away from this, Monday was the first day. Today was the first day the Dolphins put on full-on pads. So everybody's been waiting to see if Charles Harris could continue his production in terms of rushing the passer with pads on, and he did just that. He got pressures on the quarterback. He got a sack on Ryan Tannehill, and it's good to see Andre Branch, who had 2 sacks, and a strip sack, obviously, continues his production. Jordan Phillips, who's been notoriously inconsistent, he was productive. But again, I think the thing to really take out of this is Charles Harris continues to perform. And everybody was saying, waiting to see if he can do the same thing with pads on. And he continues to do so. This is great news for Dolphins fans. The defensive line looks really good and a lot of depth there. This next report is concerning tight end Julius Thomas. This report comes from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. Tannehill and Julius Thomas finally connect for a big play in training camp. A touchdown pass for more than 20 yards. So this is great to see. Obviously, Julius Thomas hasn't been involved, at least in the receiving game. He's been really good at blocking screens in practice, but he's been a no-show in terms of catching passes. So this is great news that he's getting back on track with Tannehill as they continue to build their chemistry up, which is great because, again, like I said in previous videos, this is the best tight end Ryan Tannehill has ever had. So it's good to see these two finally hook up for a touchdown. This next report is concerning rookie linebacker Raekwon McMillan. This report comes from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. Raekwon McMillan was the first team middle linebacker for the 4th consecutive day, and it is evident that it's his job to lose. During the 6 weeks that the NFL players had off in June and July, McMillan spent an hour a day studying the playbook, and that work has paid off. It's great news if you're a Dolphins fan. I think just from what we've heard and from what we've seen in Miami Dolphins training camp so far, Raekwon McMillan and Charles Harris hopefully we see this results in regular season and preseason, both may be the best 1-2 pick that we've had in some time. These two have looked amazing so far. Raekwon McMillan, he's done everything you would hope a rookie middle linebacker would be able to do for your football team. He wasn't even given the job, and he has just earned it, and he has taken it for himself. Like that report said, with all the NFL players had, their day off, he was studying the playbook an hour a day, and he is something else, man. These two are going to be good for a long time. This next report is concerning the Miami Dolphins offensive line, and it comes from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. Ted Larson has been with the first team at left guard throughout camp, and barring something unexpected, he is positioned to be the starter opposite right guard Jermon Bushrod. Rookie Isaac Asiata continues to get second team work at guard, with Jake Brendel and Anthony Steen also options there. With Mike Pouncey not participating in team drills, Craig Urbick is clearly the backup center. But the Dolphins have also cycled in Steen and Brendel with the first team. Really to take out of this report here, other than, I guess, Ted Larson, it surprised me of how much better he is than Isaac Asiata so far. That's the only thing that's really surprised me. Jake, he's been getting a lot of first team reps. He's looked really good. That's another thing that's really surprised me. He's somebody you guys should definitely keep your eye on. This next report is concerning the Miami Dolphins secondary. This report comes from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. Xavier Howard has received the majority of the first team snaps at cornerback, opposite Byron Maxwell, with Tony Lippett also getting some work in. Rookie Cordrea Tankersley has spent a lot of time with the second team, but on Monday the Dolphins also gave some second team work to UNLV undrafted rookie who has had 2 interceptions early in camp. With Bobby McCain held out of team drills with a knee injury, Michael Thomas worked ahead of Altron Werner as the first team nickelback on Monday. And with Rashad Jones remaining out with a calf injury, Nate Allen and TJ McDonald have been paired as the starting safeties. So Altron Werner has been making a ton of plays in training camp, but he just doesn't know the playbook enough right now to start and take a ton of first team reps, but he's still taking some of those reps from Bobby McCain, so that's something to keep your eye on. Xavier Howard continues his strong training camp. He looks like a bona fide #1 shutdown corner. Main thing to keep your eye on is, can anybody unseat Byron Maxwell? And Tony Lippett, obviously, I think, has the talent to do it. He had a great year last year. He's had a great offseason so far. So that is definitely something to keep your eye on. This next report is what William Hayes and Andre Branch had to say about the rookie defensive end Charles Harris. William Hayes said, quote, "He's a special player, very explosive. The thing I like most is every day he works on his craft. He's very coachable." Branch said, quote, "Charles has had flashes where you say, okay, you can be a very dominant player in this league. Charles is going to play, and he's going to play a lot." So that's, again, I cannot wait to see both of these rookies play. They both have good camps. This makes me even more excited. We're going to do a quick rundown of all the biggest headlines from day 5 of Miami Dolphins training camp. This report comes from the Palm Beach Post. One guy who isn't padded up is Mike Pouncey. He is yet to come close to a full practice, sitting out all of spring work and getting about 10 to 15 minutes of individual drills Sunday. The team is describing today's absence as a rest day. Cornerback Bobby McCain is back after a scare with his right knee Sunday. The opening run of first string versus first string was fairly even between the offense and defense. Ajayi broke a nice tackle against Lawrence Timmons, knocking his helmet off. The first round pick Charles Harris delivered a sack on Ryan Tannehill. First string's second series, Michael Thomas had an interception of Tannehill while covering Juice Landry. Later in the segment, Andre Branch let up last second when he could have drilled Ryan Tannehill. Damian Williams had a touchdown run of roughly 20 yards off the left tackle. Late in practice, the offense had a nice sequence. Tannehill hit Devontae Parker on a slant. Wide receiver Isaiah Ford knee remains out, as does running back Storm Johnson, safety Rashad Jones, and offensive tackle Avery Young. Some little notes that I missed so far. Neville Hewitt has looked really good in today's training camp. He showed some flashes of explosiveness in today's training camp. Ryan Tannehill has thrown 4 interceptions in team drills. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. Adam Gase said he's being a little bit more aggressive with his throws. And so that has been your Miami Dolphins training camp recap. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I am Skags1383, and I will see you guys in the next one. Let's get through the rigmarole before we jump into the podcast. Remember, guys, this podcast posts each and every single Wednesday. The first segment of the show, we go through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. The second segment of the show, we go through all the AFC East news you need to know about. And the third and final segment, we go through the Miami Dolphins fan Q&A. So this